Within 2 years, more than half the US workforce will be freelancing. That's not a guess, that's a straight line projection from where the data already is. Nearly 40% of workers freelanced last year, and that number has been climbing every single year. At the same time, a major new report says AI is about to reshape more than half of all jobs in this country within the next 2 to 3 years. Not eliminate, reshape. Same title, completely different job. But here's what almost nobody is saying. The people who come out ahead of that shift aren't the ones with the most impressive resume. They're the ones who already knew which kind of one-person business actually fits how they work and what they're actually good at and how much time they actually have. I've studied 5 different digital entrepreneur archetypes and how these people make money online. I've been doing it myself for over 10 years. So today I want to break down the digital entrepreneur archetypes, and you can choose which one works for you and start building a more profitable lifestyle. So here's a mistake almost everyone makes when they're building something for themselves. They copy whichever creator they admire most without checking whether that person's entire situation, their time, their skills, their starting audience, actually matches their own. The plan that works for someone doing this stuff full time with a team is not the plan that works for somebody doing this on the side after a 9 to 5. And trying to force that onto the other is a way that you're going to quit and burn out within a year. There are 5 distinct ways to build a one-person business, and each one fits a different set of constraints and a different person. I'm going to walk through all 5 using one real example for each so you can see what separates them and what fits you best. Okay, now before we get started, I want you to leave a comment down below with your current situation, right? Are you working full time? Do you parent by yourself? Like, what's your lifestyle like? Because that lifestyle aspect ties a lot into the kind of digital entrepreneur that you can be. Let me know in the comments below right now. Okay, so the first digital entrepreneur archetype I want to go through is the full stack creator. This is somebody who's building a full media brand. And I myself have been doing this for over 10 years now. I'm talking YouTube, the podcast, all of it, right? So it encompasses everything: the writing, videos, social media, even stuff off the digital world that really helps the online space, like public speaking and going to events and things like that. All of that is what comes with being a full stack creator. Now, you can have other pieces without it, but essentially the other archetypes are taking these elements out and doing them individually. Dan Coe is probably the cleanest version of this. I just put out a video on his whole system. He's a full stack creator where he's doing everything. You'll see him on YouTube with 1 million+ subscribers, newsletters with 100,000+ people subscribed, on social posting consistently, like all of it. The content output is just absurd. I will say, to be a full stack creator, you kind of start with one thing and then you branch off into everything else. For me, I started off with audio. I had my first basketball show in like 2014, 2015. And once I started creating content there, I knew, okay, I'm putting a lot of work in here and I can go and do everything else. I built one newsletter to like 10,000+ entrepreneurs. I was doing podcasting like nonstop, which is probably my favorite out of all of them. If you've seen any of my other content, you know podcasting is like number 1 for me. So I added everything else in over time. So if you want to be a full stack creator, you have to be willing to start in one place, get really good at that, and then add the other ones over time. I also want to say that the full stack creator is challenging because you need equipment. Like, to do all the videos, the writing, the editing, and everything that comes with that, it's a lot of tools. Not even expensive, it's just a lot. Right? You have to commit to it and really go all in. This archetype is probably the most challenging because it takes the most time. I have to do this full time, meaning I'm recording, editing, writing, doing something in that regard every single day, like every day, at least an hour in a day. Comes down to me making some kind of content, editing, scheduling, whatever it is. Even my interviews with investors for one of my shows, Next Round Ready, it's nonstop. And this is why I think you kind of have to love it. Honestly, if you want to be the full stack creator, you got to love creating. You have to love it. Okay, now archetype 2 is the writer. And by the way, this isn't like a numbered list or anything. I just want to give it to you in the breakdown, right? The writer goes deep into one specific area instead of super wide. Now, you can go wide. That's an option, but it's better to start off specific. See, because the newsletter isn't a side project supporting something bigger. This guy, Tim Denning, is probably the clearest example of this. He's not a major presence on video, but he's one of the most read writers on the internet. His entire business runs through consistent, focused writing rather than a channel spanning 5 different formats competing for the same attention. The core belief under this archetype is that every platform you don't own is rented land, subject to algorithms and the switch ups they have, and then a lot of the platforms not showing your content to your specific followers anyways. Everything is built around protecting and growing that one own channel of your newsletter. This is the right fit if you think more clearly in writing than in any other format. And if you're ready to go deeper on one channel for years, then try to fix your voice and all of those different things, you can focus on writing, have your own frameworks, your own strategies, and have a really thorough way of explaining your perspective on different trending topics and things like that. So I'll give you a more broad example. If you're into writing and you want to just focus on that, but you still have other things you like or are interested in, the great thing about being a writer is you can have one newsletter that talks to one person about something like gardening. That's all you talk about on this newsletter. So then people who are interested in learning how to garden, they subscribe to your newsletter. How do you grow that? You can talk to the moms in the mom groups. You can talk to the community people, all of that stuff, and they'll be interested in gardening at some level. You can monetize that by either selling people a little breakdown on how to start gardening, how did they get better, protect their crops or whatever it is. Keep it super simple. And then there are a lot of brands that will pay you to get access to your audience at a certain level, obviously, if all you talk about is gardening. So you can do this with quite literally anything. I think at the very least, everybody could be writing. Archetype 3 is the service-led operator. This person uses content as a funnel into real consulting services and work on a product itself. See, the content is not what generates revenue directly. It's what fills the pipeline for the actual product. This is where expertise is sold directly to a client. Neil Patel is the best example in this specific space. He has years of marketing content online, and this was before the AI stuff, so he was actually putting in the work making this or paying somebody to make it. But all of that content became the funnel into his actual agency, doing the real client work for real companies. And it wasn't a self-paced course. I don't think he sells any self-paced courses. Now he sells software and all of that stuff, but this distinction matters enormously. A service-led operator isn't selling a product about the skill. They're selling the skill itself, applied directly to someone else's specific problem. Honestly, this archetype is usually the fastest to revenue, because if you have that skill and you can solve the problem, you can easily sell that solution. That's all you're doing. Somebody comes to you with a problem, or you see them talk about it online, and you go to them and say, hey, I've solved this problem for 100 other people. I can do the same thing for you. It's pretty simple. Think of this as the trainers. Like, this is the best example, the fitness trainers, where they've gotten in shape themselves and changed their life. So now when somebody else wants to get in shape, they can go to the trainers. What do you see on Instagram? A lot of the trainers post their workouts. They post what you should eat, your meal prepping, all of those different things. And that attracts people who need that help. And then when a person is like, okay, look, I need more help. I need the one-on-one. That's the service they sell. So this is honestly a no-brainer. If you have a specific, unique skill that a lot of people don't have, you can dominate with this approach. Okay, so far I've broken down 3 of the archetypes. Let me know in the comments below which one is fitting you so far. And by the way, if you want to know more about this and you're trying to get the full overview and breakdown, join the Raw Entrepreneur newsletter. That's linked down in the description box down below. It's completely free. And we also have a guide to really break down exactly how you can execute all of these at a really, really high level. Archetype 4 is probably going to be the most popular, and it's the employed builder. I created this one specifically because I talk to so many people and they're like, how do you do this? How do you do what you do? And all of those things. And it's obvious that they're full-time employees, whether it be in corporate or even retail or construction, all kind of jobs. It's just 9 to 5. The employed builder. This is somebody who builds a company while they're still fully employed. I don't want to tell you, hey, quit your job. But the reality is, like I said at the beginning of this video, the world is changing. It's changing. AI is going to change the way everybody works. You cannot run from it. You can't hide. So it's better for you to find your way that you fit. So if you're still going to work corporate and keep that long-term job, great. Keep that stability. For sure. But now you got to find something else you do outside of that to supplement that income. And it might even also be fun to you. I think Cody Sanchez is like the clearest version of this, because she was buying small, boring, cash flowing businesses quietly while still in a deep traditional finance career, and only stepped away from that career once the things she built on the side had already outgrown it entirely. She didn't rush and quit her job, which is what I'm always telling people. I think everybody can be an entrepreneur, but I don't think you need to rush into it, because your mentality has to be different to be in this type of lifestyle. Like, it's a whole different ball game when nobody's telling you what to do and you get to wake up when you want to and all of that stuff. But then you're now responsible for everything. It's a whole different ball game. And what makes this archetype different from the others is the order in which things happen. You got to have actual proof, revenue and operating experience and run your thing before you quit that job. The content came after the proof existed, not before, which meant none of it was theoretical by the time the audience saw it. This archetype is deliberately slower by design. That's not a weakness. It's the entire point. This is the right fit if you have a demanding job right now that constrains your time, but you still want to build something genuinely real without betting on it before it has a chance to prove itself. Archetype 5 is the community builder. This is a person that treats the paid community as the core offer itself. It's not a side benefit attached to the brand. The content still matters here, but the entire job is to feed people into the room, not be the product on its own. Joe Budden is a strong example of this. His entire business right now is built around a paid membership where people get deeper access, more content, and a sense of belonging. They get to react to his clips. It's so much that comes with that. It's extremely valuable. Now, the structure on this is different as well, because a community builder isn't selling a piece of content that somebody consumes once and then they move on. They're not selling that service. They're selling ongoing access to a room, and retention depends far more on that sense of belonging than on any piece of content. This is a right fit for those people who are extroverts, who are like, I want to talk to people, I want to connect, I can be on calls with them every single week. Like, you can win if that's your mentality and how you already operate. You can build a community where people will pay to access this group of people. And I think some people are literally built to be community people. You know, those people that just know everybody. They know everybody. They probably set up a run club in your city right now. That person is a community builder. Again, I even think you can build this in a virtual world within a week if you're one of those people that has that mentality. So those are 5 archetypes. I'd love for you to let me know in the comments down below what archetype fits you the most. And I want to be clear, some of this can be combined, right? If you are a community builder and you're really great at that and you're good with people, you can still be full-time and set up your community. That could be your strategy. You can start off with writing while you're working full-time at your job. It's not like these are mutually exclusive. There's only one or no, you don't have to choose. You can choose one or two. The only one that you have to choose and you can't really deviate from is the full stack creator. That requires commitment. You got to be locked in because there's so much that comes into that. Now I'm going to work on content for a breakdown on each one of these on the channel. So make sure you subscribe. And also if you want a deeper dive on this stuff, you want some personalized help, make sure you join the Raw Entrepreneur newsletter. It's linked down in the description box down below.